Mortal Kombat 1 came out recently, and albeit the story was quite a bit of fun and something that you could complete in a single day, what seems to be fairly lacking is some of its additional features beyond just the campaign mode. Instead of having the crypt like you would in previous games, you now just have a shrine in which you spend 1,000 coins at for randomized rewards throughout the game. You also have Invasions, which is Mortal Kombat's answer to the seasonal battle pass type system, where you can go through what is a top-down version of what used to be the crypt, essentially, in little bonus fight modes with varying modifiers and new ways to kind of approach some of these fights for some additional rewards for characters. Speaking on the story mode for now, though, I did quite enjoy it, and if you recall from Mortal Kombat 11, at the end of that, spoiler alert, Liu Kang became a fire god and the Keeper of Time, and now has rewritten all of history and all of time, making this a essentially soft reboot of the game, bringing back some original characters from older titles that haven't been seen in quite some time, as well as giving people new origins of sorts, like Scorpion and Sub-Zero being brothers, and no longer just being a part of rival clans. And now with Liu Kang being the fire god, Raiden isn't a god anymore, he's just a normal farmer along with Kung Lao, and many other characters that have varied backgrounds from this point, which was a lot of fun to see some of the different ways that these characters are kind of starting out. And of course, you have Johnny Cage, who's kind of just always an asshole to begin with. Kenshi was quite a fun character to get to see some of his stuff. I won't be going into any of the story spoilers. I will only be showing some gameplay footage and things in the background from the first hour and a half of the game. But if that's still something that bothers you, you can skip to this time code ahead when I talk about the tower challenges and the invasions. So again, the campaign was quite a bit of fun. You go through 15 chapters, playing through a pretty good-sized roster of characters all the way throughout the game. And the way that it seems is it appears as though Kronika from Mortal Kombat 11 is back somehow and is messing with the timeline that Liu Kang had created for this world after having quite a bit of peace between the realms of Earthrealm and Outworld, holding a challenge once every century to see who is the more powerful realm just in terms of the fighters that there are, which led to thousands of years of peace between the two realms. But of course now it's all being threatened after what appears to be Kronika has changed the destiny or the fate, if you will, of Shang Tsung, who near the start of the game is shown to just be a snake oil peddler that doesn't have much else going on with his life, and this leads to a lot of other things that end up happening with some secret ploys and plots behind other characters that I won't get into too many details about. Overall, though, giving the story a rating out of 10, I would definitely give this one an 8. It was quite a bit of fun, a lot of different action. It was something that was very difficult to put down if I wanted to get up and eat or anything like that, just because so much was always going on. And NetherRealm Studios has always seemed to have quite a good history of having, even previously with some of the other Mortal Kombat games and Injustice games, a pretty fast-paced and intriguing story going on. The graphics, of course, are better than ever from previous games, which is always really nice to see going through these games and just seeing how they've always tended to have some of, if not the best, cutscene graphics that have been presented within a game, and especially being a next-gen title, they're able to do that. And I have seen some of the screenshots and things of the Nintendo Switch port, and all I can really say about that is it is surprising that they chose to do something like that, considering the not so massive power of the Nintendo Switch. But the fact that they can even get it to run on a Switch is pretty damn surprising, even though graphically it is downgraded quite heavily. But all of this was captured on a PS5, and some of the only issues that I ever noticed present within the game, because there really weren't any hiccups with the frame rate or graphics. There wasn't any hitches when going through some of the cutscenes. Transitions from cutscene to gameplay was all seamless. The only other type of thing that I had an issue with occasionally was it seemed as though there were times where the audio would bug out when doing combos for fights, where punches and kicks, the sound effects would not go for anything for maybe one or two combo chains, and it would just be the music playing, and then the fighting sound effects would actually kick back in. But other than that, there were no issues with this game whatsoever in terms of any of the technical qualities for it. With all that being said, let's get into some of the areas of the game that I think are fairly lackluster in terms of features as well as its rewards and the amount of time that it would take to get some of those rewards, because in previous Mortal Kombat games, the end game content and additional content just seemed to be better than what is currently on offer right now. I'll be playing through some of it more, but I hope it gets a bit better in the future.
Red alert. Incoming stock villain.
So in terms of endgame content, what exactly will you be doing with this? And when I say what exactly will you be doing with this, I mean what will you be doing with this? Of course, there's always the multiplayer aspect of it where you can fight others online with random opponents, and that has always been present in most games for quite a while. That aspect, if that's something for you and a part of the reason as to why you get these games, that won't disappoint there on that front. But if you're someone that enjoyed some of the mini-game things that come along with Mortal Kombat, there does not seem to be as much going on with that. You have each of the different tower types, of course. You have the 6 fight tower, the 8 fight tower, 10 fight tower, then you have the endless and survival towers. These activities allow you to get more Mortal Kombat coins as well as the invasion mode, which you can use those coins in the shrine to get randomized rewards instead of what the crypt style stuff in the previous games were, which personally I preferred quite a bit more than the shrine. The shrine is just literally a dragon statue where you put 1,000 coins into it. It spews fire onto it to melt down those coins, and then you just get one randomized item out of a pretty large loot pool of things that you can get. And then it seems as though where Mortal Kombat's seasonal offering is with the invasion game mode. And the invasion game mode seems to be something that has potential, but as of right now is something that has fight modifiers, has a top-down view, for when you're going through the different kind of level areas to go to these other fights. It has some of the puzzle aspects and trying to find other items to take through, and you can even do character builds with it. And on mine I did Liu Kang, and I chose Cyrax as my companion for this fight, or the cameo fighters, and they go through. You can select different damage types once you get like specific amulets or talismans, things like that, that can help alter and level the playing field as you get further along and have different difficulties with different modifiers that affect how some of these fights go. And it's all narrated right now by Johnny Cage through his home as somewhat of the tutorial for these invasions. And I'm just hoping that maybe they can kind of expand a bit more on some of the storyline, or give maybe some better rewards in the future, because in previous Mortal Kombat games it just felt like there was a lot more on offer after completing the game, as well as getting more rewards by the end of the game. For example, I beat the game and I only had, I believe it was roughly 400 Mortal Kombat coins, maybe 500. I don't remember off the top of my head, but that still isn't even enough to get a single reward for an item from the shrine after beating the game. You do get color palette rewards as well as certain weapon skins for characters after each fight like you do in previous Mortal Kombat games. But even after completing the game, looking through the character roster to try and customize some of those things, it did not feel like there was nearly enough on offer there as previous titles. So I'm hoping that Warner Brothers or whoever above NetherRealm Studios doesn't try to monetize the game too hard with what this invasion stuff will be. The DLC characters as well that have been revealed do look like they'll be quite a bit of fun. Of course, that is, I believe, a $40 package, though, on top of the already $70 game for another 5 or 6 characters that will be released later on. So that's something that is on offer for you there, but that is up to you whether or not that's a real proper value option. Me personally, I'm not sure I would be getting something like that, but overall, with the entire game process that I have played through so far, I've put a little over 20 hours in at this point. It hopefully will get better with some of the end game content because right now, again, the campaign was quite a bit of fun, but all of this end game content is not necessarily what I personally at least was hoping for with something for Mortal Kombat, and I don't think it will keep me around for too terribly long. And my final score for the game overall is a 7 out of 10, and thanks for watching.